voice cringe?
You're gonna be...
I can incorporate that in the story sometime. I lived in New Zealand for 6 months, and I told a story about it a while back, how terrible it is. And to get from New Zealand back here, you have to go to LAX. So it's enough of a detour that I can tell this story, because it's not like a perfectly straight line. And I was in LAX. I was one of those like 12-hour layovers where you have enough time to like start a new life for yourself while you're waiting for the plane. And I was sitting down on these little benches in the check-in, and I was just reading a book. It was that book, Gödel, Escher, Box. I was just like pretending to read it, really. I have no idea. I was just kind of like lifting it. And this guy sat down next to me, and he just looked bedraggled. He just looked like shit. He was just dirty hair, dirty clothes, just generally like a dirty, scraggly guy. And he sat down and he asked me for a pen, and I shuffled around. I found him a pen. And he started writing something, and my memory of what happened actually isn't that great, because I was on a plane for like 24 hours and hadn't eaten vegetables. I don't know, my brain wasn't working very well. And he's starting writing on his pen, and he starts crying. And it was really, really awkward, so I just tried to pretend to read my book while this guy sat down next to me, you know, crying and using my pen. And after a while, he kept crying, and I had to turn to him. I was obligated to turn to him and ask what's going on. And he you know, brushed me off. He said nothing, and he kept doing it. He just wept into his hands, and it was getting serious at this point. And so I think he asked me something, and I think I answered. I don't know. I hadn't eaten vegetables in a while, and I just kind of put my arm on him, and I told him the worst thing I could have possibly told him, which is, I said, everything's going to be okay. And he said, no, it's not. And I thought, you're probably right. This is not looking good. And he's sitting there, and he's crying, and then he starts to doze off. And he starts passing out. And I realize this guy is trying to kill himself, because I've seen that more times than I wish I had. And that's exactly what he was doing. And he was starting to lose consciousness, and I didn't know what to do, because instinctively you want to go around and get someone, but I have no idea who he is. His life could be complete shit. It looks like it is. He's sitting in LAX losing consciousness. But I mean, I was compelled to at least say, look, you don't want to do this at LAX. Maybe you should at least go to like SFO. I don't know. This place sucks. They have nothing here except for this duty-free store, which is like magic. They have amazing. They have a $40,000 bottle of cognac in the LAX duty-free store. I don't know why. It's just like a last-minute airport gift. You're gonna pick this up. Every time it's cool inside. They have all types of luxury items. Apparently, people just go there and they just get like Cartier pens, because I talked to the clerks and I asked if people actually buy these things, and he goes, "Yeah, all the time." They just need a pen, so they go get a $300 Cartier pen. Okay, anyway, so the guy's trying to kill himself, and he's sitting there, and then he starts seizing. And then I have to do something, because there's no like contemplative moment where you think about life and death. If the guy's seizing, you don't want someone walking by you while you just sit next to a seizing man. So I ran, I got someone, and the ambulance came. They picked him up. They asked me questions about what happened and who he was. I told them I had no idea who he was. He just started seizing, and once he started doing that, again, I knew that that's what he had done, because I've seen that happen before a few times. And they put him on the gurney. They put him in the back of the ambulance. And my plane was going to leave in a couple hours, and I thought, I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to find out where they took him and find out what happened to him. I got on the plane, and I didn't think about him for like another year. I only thought about him when I heard the subject of the story. And it kind of validated me not immediately getting someone and sitting there and allowing him to pursue this absurd, spectacular death at LAX. Because I didn't know him well enough to call him. Why would I have assumed that I knew him well enough to insist that he lived? So, thank you for letting me depress the shit out of you for 5 minutes.